It is.
Good morning.
Hey, hey, great to see you. So I think the different background is somehow related to the water accident.
No, yeah, well, yeah. So I'm upstairs today. This is actually my dining room.
Nice.
So I'm upstairs today because yes, there's the possibility of people being around again. They haven't shown up today. They don't tell me when they're coming. So it
So
was very, very strange yesterday. And it wasn't only that, we also had, I have regularly someone come to clean the house. I have regularly someone come to walk the dog. All of this happened yesterday during this water line break.
yeah, as
So,
always. Yeah.
yeah, so it was a very interesting day.
So hopefully it'll be fixed soon. Is it like as these kind of services are relaxed in Switzerland, so they're not in a hurry, or well, what is usual experience?
So they never tell me anything, right?
Okay.
And because my German isn't perfect, and worse, my Swiss German,
Ah,
they
yeah.
come, and then I take my phone, I call my wife, and I give them the phone.
Okay.
So,
Makes
but
sense.
we don't know, actually. We don't know when they're coming. They finished some work yesterday around 4 in the afternoon. They didn't tell me anything. They just left my door open and they left. So so I had to, I looked around and then I decided it was safe to close the door, and now we wait and see what happens.
Yeah, that's an experience.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, hey, Andre.
Hello,
Welcome, guys.
everyone. Hi, good afternoon.
Can anyone hear my fan in the background? I don't know if it's making too much noise.
No, it's good.
It's okay. Okay. It's very warm.
Yes, I'm here in Prague. Plus 32, excessive heat warning, all the jazz.
32 is in Prague?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm moved to mountains, it is
Oh, really?
25. Yeah,
Uh,
I do
oh,
it every single year.
so you on a summer location or you moved completely?
Yeah, on summer vacation,
Uh,
basically to my parents' house.
where is that? In Czech Republic?
In Jeseniki Mountains.
Ah, yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. Very beautiful
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
Cool.
And the
Yeah.
exact address, please. We're going to be coming to
KGB party. All right. Most probably we can start. So it's probably going to be the first meeting where Bradley will take the steering wheel and drive us through agenda. What
yes,
about it, really?
yeah,
Cool.
let me share my screen. Let's see. Hopefully there's nothing too crazy here. Look at that. Everyone can see it? Yeah.
Yep, perfect.
Okay, good. So yeah, I added a few things on here just to go along with the things that I've been working on a little bit behind the scenes. So just we created a LinkedIn account, right? The basic thing. We've made a couple of posts on there. As you can see down here, I've made a link to it. So we made a release post on LinkedIn for the latest release. We made a post inviting people to the community meeting today. It doesn't look like too many extra people saw it yet. So, but the big thing from the community management perspective is that the big early goals are really to try to spread awareness, make sure the documentation is tight, try to clean up the roadmap and start the moving from sandbox to incubation. Does that make sense? If there's,
Totally.
yeah, and if there's something else which should be on there, please let me know. As I said in the first meeting, this is my first time working on a community project like this. So I'm really learning as I go. So any kind of suggestions anyone has are welcome. So I've tried to link everything here. I will not be here the next time, by the way, unless something changes. I'm going to be on a work trip that full week.
Unacceptable, Bradley. Unacceptable.
Yeah. So if it happens though that there's time while I'm there and I'm not occupied, then I will show up. But I'm just setting the expectation now. So Yuri, you'll have to take the next one or somebody else. So
That's good.
yeah, and so there were a couple of quick doc fixes. These were mostly to service this point of making sure the documentation's tight, make sure it's easy for a new person to come in and try to contribute. So I made a couple of quick fixes. The first one broke some things, so I made a quick follow-up fix. So everything's linked there. Everything's set up now for the social stuff except for Twitter. That's a little harder because we need either a phone or an email address. The email address work is in progress. So Yuri's got an action item there, which I think is later on down here.
Yeah,
So
I did the discussion exactly. Yeah.
Yep. So we can talk about that when we get there. So Twitter will be set up as soon as we get an email address or we get a phone. But I think the email address is the way to go. Yuri brought up a good point while we were talking about an intro video to the project. So I've spoken with Nuno, who you all know, who's been on some of these calls and has made some contributions. He's excited to help with that. He's got a script already ready for that. He's looking for people to do testimonials and record a narrator track, and then he'll put all that stuff together into something slick. So if anybody has any kind of ideas on that, you want to contribute, you know, somebody who might want to help record something, please let us know. We can start a discussion about it in the Slack channel if you want. Going
exciting.
forward. Yep, sorry.
No, it just sounds exciting. I mean, somehow in 4 years in the project, we never had this kind of, short effective video, and it will be a great help for adoption of this.
Well, it was your idea, so I imagine that you'd like it.
Thank you.
No, I think it's a very good idea, and I think it's a good thing to have on the site, actually, right? And linked also into it can be promoted on any of the socials, it can be put in the site, it can be put in the Slack workspace channel, everything. So I think it's a very good idea.
Yeah, what I like about it is that it will be presented by an adopter, right? Not a creator, because we had like multiple creator driven talks, right? But here it's like a short adopters video, so that's amazing. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, that's going to add a lot of value to it. So once we have these socials all set up, we will start advertising, announcing more things on them, right? So instead of just saying, hey, look at the cool new release on LinkedIn, it'll also go out on Twitter and wherever else, right? So let's see. Yeah, the issue was created on the project to start thinking about the CNCF incubation with some links to other sorts of issues. There's nothing on there except just, literally it's been created, right? So this will be fleshed out as as we can, but it's there now. It's a placeholder. And I think
at
you have
the
a
moment
plan, right?
we still don't have like feeling about like what's the current requirements, because my understanding of the process is most probably outdated since I've changed something recently, so I need to make like another round of investigations there.
Yeah. So what I would think, one of the things that we can all work on together is we can come to this issue, for example. This is one of my action items shortly, is to do exactly that, try to figure out what is required and make
Cool.
something like a checklist here, right? And start assigning it to people so
Perfect.
that so that it's not just a heart, it's a checklist of actions on it. Yeah, because it's something which is it's unknown to me what that process is. I know that you have some ideas what you want to do before you submit that application, so we'll put that in there as well.
Cool. Sounds great.
All right. I said this already. The LinkedIn org is there.
Yeah, so for LinkedIn org, I'm not sure, like the situation and your perception might be different. Like, But if you can, please hire yourself into the project organization. I think it's good for visibility and for visibility of the project. And yeah, I'm hired there already as creator and core maintainer. So please hire yourself if it's okay for you and for your company. I mean, situation, as I mentioned, might be different. But if it's relaxed in your case and you can publicly claim that you're involved in the project, that will be amazing. So thank you in advance.
Yes, and it appears because I created the k8gb LinkedIn org, my LinkedIn notifications come up at the same time when I'm looking at it, so I've closed that off.
Yeah. Yeah, and just in case for hire yourself, you just need to put an entry right in your bio and type in k8gb and this org will appear, and that's it.
Yep. Okay. Any questions or comments about any of this stuff here? Oops. The stuff I meant to highlight this. This is the big update from the community management perspective. I'll try to do something like this each time as it's useful. And let me know again if there's something else that should go on there. So
Yeah, so let's actively track the incubation, I guess. Like let's target this in up every community meeting, like to make some progress, I would say. I mean,
yes.
we will be main drivers, and guys, if you want to contribute to this process, you're more than welcome as well, of course. If you're excited about CNCF bureaucracy processes, so I'm more than happy to give somebody this type of work.
Okay. Then what's next? So yeah, this project needs a lot of work. I don't know where to start with this. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff which is done, of course. There's stuff which has got reviews and progress, stuff which is a to-do. I don't know actually what of this stuff we could possibly prune, if anything. If there's anybody who wants to jump into some of these things, if there's certain things which we need to change a priority of. So I look toward everybody else to try to help with this kind of thing. I don't know if it's something that we want to do. We even want to start now on this call or maybe on the next call if you want to have a look at things first. How do you think we should approach this?
Yeah, for me, it looks like we need to start with some massive pruning, like deprecating as much as possible of it, most probably a lot of outdated stuff. And then actually create an up-to-date vision of the next version, because whatever is currently in milestones is heavily outdated. It reflects like minus 2 years plans, let's say, and we just never realign and rearrange the milestone priorities and this kind of stuff. And my high-level view, as I probably mentioned on the last meeting, so we made a release, right, that included the most recent advancements and enhancements, and Azure support and contribution binary with the reference setup, and the next high-level plan would be like to add GCP support, like seamless GCP integration, and we can publicly claim like, yeah, k8gb supports all 3 major hyperscalers and make some kind of maybe 1.0 release or something like that, because like it's already stable, it's already flexible, like open for flexibility, good API with a resource reference, and the major hyperscaler support plus a bunch of additional ones that we already have under the belt. And yeah, we can create like a next milestone, which might be a 1.0, and basically targeted, like kind of next release might be not as heavy technically packed, but it can be more marketing packed and to claiming the stability and broad support of the integration and ecosystem. So what do you think, guys? Does it make sense to focus on GCP support as a last hyperscaler and make a future release, or if you would like to see something more in 1.0, like for example, maybe Istio gateway support or something. Like, what do you think, Michael, Andrew?
Yeah, I would say, or the Istio support would not be required for 1.0, or the support in the 3 hyperscalers seems like a bigger milestone, or like a good basis.
Cool.
Then I wonder, what do you see as the future of, so now we have the embedded and the references, and would you see as maybe deprecating the embedded ingress at some point? Because that could speak, or it is easier to make such breaking changes or deprecating options while we are at 0 than later on, but still we can go from 1 to 2 and say this is deprecated if that's the case.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. Yeah, I'm open to deprecation. Michal, what do you think, especially from the perspective of our current existing deployment in Opsa?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Basically, people quite often asking for the gateway objects, and also we have some requirements in APSA. At the moment, I'm preparing the PR for that. It's related to the annotation stuffs. So these things are priority for me.
And so on annotation, can you please provide me a refresher? I forgot, like you have this cycle, right? Like a loop for reconciliation.
Yeah. At the moment, in current that I can call it a bug. If you change annotation in ingress, the reconciliation is executed, and because there are like two sources of truth, the annotation in the ingress is synchronized automatically from the annotations within the GSLB, and it is removed. So once you have some external process, for instance, Rancher, which is putting some annotations into the ingress, it starts to loop the k8gb, and k8gb starts to make the DNS requests, and that's the issue for the HDNS. So I'm just preparing the PR with the implementations and tests. I'm done. I'm just waiting for the finishing the Terra tests, and yeah, in a few minutes I will produce the PR for that. And basically it I put it into the descriptions, but it will not run the reconciliations again. Plus, it blocks the copying the annotations between the ingress and the GSLBs. Yeah.
Got it. And
should I be more detailed, or are you fine with this?
No, like we can continue like more deeper on that, like PR review.
In the PR, definitely.
Yeah. One just high level idea. View. It sounds like the new reference style might help with the issue, like by design, because in the reference case, you will not reconcile the ingress, correct?
Yes, but the issue is still there, and the point is that once you do any change within the annotations, it still runs, because they are the watchers for the ingress and GSLB, and once you do it, it still starts
so it's
to
this
copy
kind of reference
annotations.
part logic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is only related to annotations, So I'm basically trying to not copy them as much as we do. And if I do the copy, I do only k8gb related annotations. And basically, if in the directions from the GSLB, from the GSLB configuration into ingress.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's continue with PR then, like so we can review in details all the annotation.
Definitely.
Details copy. Okay, cool. That sounds like also something to include in 1.0, and yeah, it should be good. Cool. Thanks a lot. And yeah, I will try to include this in a roadmap revamp, what we discussed, and let's review on a overall roadmap and another meeting. I think like it should be like a minimal amount of issues, so that's a desired stage, right? So it's controllable. Very small ones that Bradley is currently looking at. It's small post-release fix. So Michal, I think we discussed it in some select thread after release. So that's a fix, and basically it's updating the instruction. And the issue here is that that's what we see. So there's a screenshot from Artifact Hub, so Helm chart repository, right? And apparently we always had a diff between the actual application version. As you can see, we have our latest release 0.13.0, right? And the text of version and up version in a README, they tag behind because it was never packaged, right? Always old tag was packaged as a part of README. So actually, like everything is good. It's just deviation in a Helm chart README. So if you can open a files tab, Bradley, just to see the contents of the PR, they're rather trivial. So I just updated my old email. I missed that email of South Africa. It was so fancy. So the chart is basically I updated the contributing release instructions with update of this text. That's it. That's one of the options to proceed. Another option is just to remove this text from README completely. So I'm open to both versions, to be honest, because we have a slightly additional step in a README, which is rather trivial, but kind of a little bit annoying for a manual change. Otherwise, we just, we can just omit them in a Helm chart README. Makes sense. What do you think, Michal? As a long-term
Yeah,
maintainer,
I'm fine with both.
Yeah.
Whatever I need to do needs to be written in our documentation, because if I do the release, I always follow the steps in the documentation. Basically, I don't do releases so often and don't keep in my mind, so I'm just following this step by step.
Cool. So, like, please take a look, and if it's fine, let's approve it as it is. If you think it's better to remove this part completely, then from a Helm chart README, then I'll update the PR. So let's just
Cool.
fix that for the next release. Yeah.
All right, and then this last bit of discussion here. I don't know what you would like to say about that, Yuri.
Yeah, so the context, we need this k8gb email that is connected to the Gmail account, right, Bradley? So you're trying to set it up?
Anything. Yeah, anything. Gmail is the obvious choice. But basically, yeah, we need
so some email, and the domain to route the email, it needs this MX DNS record, right?
Yeah.
So I realize that I do not have actual control over k8gb domain anymore, and my theory, most probably, it left an APSA lens. So Michal, if you can, I already pinged the k8gb maintainers private channel. So if you can check, have a Route 53 there, it should be somewhere in APSA, in some zone, and you need to figure out control. And I'm fine to take over the sponsorship of the domain, no issues. If APSA is still fine with sponsoring it, it's even cooler, obviously. But we need to figure out that part, right? Because it's kind of critical for the project, and we also want to add this MX record whenever we figure out the ownership.
Okay. So, yeah, I'll try to find it, and
thank you.
Probably will contact you and can go together.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Perfect.
Awesome. I stopped sharing because that was the last thing that was on the agenda so far. Does anybody else have anything that you want to bring up?
Yeah, in the last few PR, basically, I spent incredible amount of time. I mean, incredible amount of time by on the Terra tests, which tends to be quite flaky. And if I do any change, usually it's still racing, and I'm spending a lot of time by fixing the racing issues. So maybe in future, we should rewrite the Terra tests. It's
Yeah,
I know
I
it's
hear you. Yeah. I hear you totally. Maybe it's time
I
to
mean I mean that if I do something like a half day, I can spend like 3 days by just
fixing the test. Sure. Yeah.
fixing the
That's
tests.
nice. So maybe it's
Yeah.
time to investigate switching to more modern tools like a chainsaw. So the testing tools that are designed for Kubernetes testing, so that are more declarative. And in Terra test, we by design like imperative kind of. Basically, Michal created a DSL within a Terra test framework specifically for k8gb testing, and it's great. But yeah, it's the framework itself is not much designed for Kubernetes kind of API style of tests, and that's why we are there are a lot of races and stuff and things. So maybe like a kind of declarative chainsaw thing might help here. So we can make a prototype. Let's create an issue actually, like to create a chainsaw prototype and see how it will help.
Whatever helps, we can do. Even if we stay with the Terra tests, they need to be replaced, and from the beginning we need to target on the racing stuffs, you know. So those would help as well. But yeah, chainsaw I never heard, so maybe could help. Yeah.
You probably heard about Cuttle, right? KUTTL.
Yeah.
This is declarative testing. So KUTTL Cuttle is not maintained much anymore. So Chainsaw, the guys from Caverna, which is very popular policy project, they picked up the basically Cuttle initial code base, and they enhanced it heavily, and now it's a Chainsaw's dedicated project, and they have a much more powerful and flexible ways to test stuff. So we have a very nice initial experience, like on a bound side, and good signal from community. So it looks like a tool that is nicely designed, right? And it's specific for API testing. So we can describe these kind of things like instantiate this, check that, and something like to check actually how we will replace the end-to-end checks, right? So it is easy with imperative Terra test, like, get to this HTTP port and checks for the send some payloads, right? And check the results. So something to check if it's even available in Chainsaw. But yeah, from a like API Kubernetes API layer perspective, it's very nice experience. So you can describe these expectations asserts in a Kubernetes way as well, right? So like actually also Kubernetes resources. So yeah, so kind of Kubernetes test framework. So let's try it out for some constraint scenario, like that is not super simple and not so super complex, something intermediate to get a feeling, right? And create a good test case.
Cool. Sounds like a plan.
Cool. Thank you, Michal. That's a great point. It's one of the most powerful and most painful part of our code base, I guess, the Terra test thing. So yeah, well, as usual, this can happen with end-to-end tests.
This is a big number, right? Saying that if you create something which took 1/2 day to create, it takes 6 times longer just to test it. That's not a good ratio.
Yeah. Tests are fine, but I mean the finding issues with the racing of the test because they are failing. You don't know if you made the issue in your code or it is within the test. Finally, you find it is within the tests, and you are trying to find what is the wrong within the test because they are racing. Some things are finishing earlier than they should, and that makes an issues.
So
yeah, Yeah, I
Sorry.
just wanted to mention that a while ago we had like a huge issues with the pipelines. Remember, Michael? Like they were failing every other time,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
every second time, and we basically had to disable parallelization heavily, right? So, and even in this scenario, it's apparently we have some form of races. So yeah, that's a tricky test flow for sure.
So who wants to create that issue?
I can create piece also like, context and change so references and all that stuff. Yeah.
Cool, thank you. All right, anything else in the last minute?
Looks like that's it. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thanks for
And-
coming.
Yeah,
Special
Yeah.
thanks to Bradley, like amazing steering. Thank you. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
good job, Bradley.
It's very difficult to walk through an agenda. I know. Okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
great.
cheers. Have a good one. And if I can make it in 2 weeks, I will.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye,
Have a great
very
day.
much.
See you guys. Bye bye.
Ciao, ciao.